Yo, 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 what's up, Kwanza Global family? This is Kwanza Global back again with another episode. This is episode 21. And today, on this episode, we're going to be talking about encouragement. Encouragement. Um, in this walk of life, in pursuing our dreams, our calling, in going after um, that vision that we have, going after our dreams, pursuing, you know, um, what we're after, getting to that next level, as we continue to progress in life, period, in whatever, in our careers, um, in anything that we're doing, um, you can and definitely need, um, you can benefit and definitely need encouragement. Everyone benefits from encouragement. You cannot go wrong with, telling someone kind words and encouraging someone and uplifting them, right? Um, if you have healthy relationships around you, strong relationships around you, people that love you, support you, that are there for you, real friends, real family, you know, um, those people, um, when they're in your ear, uplifting you, giving you encouraging words, letting you know that you can't give up, you can't quit, because you have so much more left to give. You have so much more left to do. You are stronger than you think. You're stronger than what you're um, than than what you're currently doing. You know what I mean? You're stronger than you know this moment that you're in, that you think you can't push anymore, or you think this is your limit. This is where it ends for you, or this is where it stops. This is where man, you kind of you thought you could push longer, and you're doubting yourself. When you have people in your ear, the support system, those people in your ear that tell you, it's like, don't believe that 1 second, don't doubt yourself 1 second, do not quit. You came all this way and you think you don't have enough. What makes you think that? Push through, push through. You want those people in your ear. You want that support system that will encourage you and let you know that no, this is not okay. It's not okay for you to stop and quit here. It is not okay. It is not acceptable. We're right here with you. We're right next to you. Keep going. You know what I mean? You need that encouragement. Those kind of words, like, that just remind you of how far you've come. You know that reminds you that you're stronger than what your mind is, that's getting kind of tired right now. Your mind is telling you, saying, yeah, this is it. Push through, push through, push through, push through. You know, push through. And those motivating words, those encouraging words, you know, mean a lot. Mean a lot when you need it the most, especially. They mean a lot, and they help a lot. And not only with just having a great support system, that is very much needed. But there are moments in life where, um, with a strong support system or not, you you will have to encourage yourself. You will have to uh, do the encouraging for yourself. You have to uplift yourself. You will have to find it. Um, you have to find it within yourself to and say, this is, I can't quit here. Why should I quit here? I'm not a quitter. I'm a winner. I'm strong. I'm better than this. I can't stop here. Life does not end for me here. Life does not. This is not my limit. You know, life has more for me. So me stopping here, I'm selling myself short, right? So we cannot allow, you know, ourselves to be defeated. We shouldn't self sabotage ourselves or, you know, defeat ourselves, early and give up. We need to keep going and going and going, right? So not only do we need a great support system, I think that that is very important. We need a support system that can encourage us along the way as we continue, our journeys in life, right? Um, but we also need there are times in life that, along with, even when we do have a good support system, that we have to encourage ourselves. We do. We have to lift ourselves up and encourage ourselves, and remember that we're not quitters, right? We're winners and we're not quitters. We have to believe that. So not only thinking that or even just saying that, but believing that and putting that into action, right? So encouraging words go a long way, and it's all in the process of continuing onwards, always forward. You want to just continue progressing. You want to keep going. Onward, man. Like, do not stop here. Do not stop here. Do not be afraid of progress, of what you uh, feel is the unknown, or the because you can't see the whole staircase. You don't want to take the next step. Let's not get caught up in that. Continue onward. Continue onward. And so this is also what this episode is about. So, you know, encouraging words, um, and you know, with encouraging ourselves and others, you know, other people encouraging us, and we and us, and you yourself encouraging others. You know, we need to encourage each other. And why is that? I mean, you know, how are we gonna get through life if we're not uplifting each other, encouraging each other, and making sure each other are making sure each one another are okay, are doing all right. Isn't hurting, right? It's like, do you need some help? Do you need some advice? Do you need some wisdom? Do you need some help? Do you, what lending a shoulder, lending an ear, whatever it is. These are encouraging, actions, encouraging words that we can do and say, right? Um, you know, in this journey of life, we need encouragement, and that will help us to continue onwards. It life gets hard, life gets tough, and we all have our own individual experiences going through life, and some roads are tougher than others, for sure. Some roads for some people are tougher than others, but with that being said, um, for most of us, I mean, we can all relate. There's still times in life where we go through struggle and we go through tough times, and we need encouragement. And and like I said, some roads are tougher than others. Some people go through, a harder road in life, and the people that go through the harder road, and those who may not be experiencing as tough of a time, you know, encouragement is still the is still in the mix there. You know, if I'm, you know, privileged to not be having it as bad as my neighbor, I can offer, and I can still offer encouraging words. I could still offer encouraging words, right? And don't even look at it just it doesn't have to be one sided, right? I think, it shows even true character, you know, for someone who's going through, you know, uh, a tough road in life, a tough time, to offer encouraging words to someone who is going through a tough time, right? But maybe not necessarily, you know, maybe not necessarily they're not going through as tough a road as this person that's offering encouraging words, right? You know what I mean? Like, you don't know this person's life story. You don't know what they're going through. They've been, they're homeless, right? They don't have a dollar to their name. They're just trying to they're really trying to get themselves back on their feet, and they offer encouraging words, you know, to someone uh who knows, maybe they're struggling through a really bad divorce, right? What I mean? Um Divorces are there's no that those are those, that's a difficult situation to be in as well, right? But one could say you can definitely weather that storm, going through that divorce, going through, you have to, there's money, financials involved with that, and a lot of things are involved. But I mean, wouldn't it be much worse if you didn't even have a home? You know what I mean? If you were struggling, with homelessness, you know what I mean? That you know you know not even not marriage wouldn't even be your worry, right? Because you don't even have a place to stay in, right? That's the least of your worries. So you know what I mean. So for someone in that sense, if two people are talking, and one of the one person is homeless, and they're offering encouraging words to someone just going through, you know a tough divorce. You know what I mean? That person could be like, man, you don't even know, what I mean, what I'm going through. You don't even understand that I don't even have a home right now, right? Like, I might look okay on the outside. I'm trying, but I really don't have a consistent place to stay, right? It's like, I'm just staying at, you know, at a friend's place from time to time, and man, I'm you know what I mean, and trying to hold it down, but I have nothing, right? And let me and then think of that scenario, and you just offer an encouraging word to somebody who you know if you look at it, it's like, man, they they still would rather their situation than, what I mean, not having a home. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of thing where it's like, you could look at it from that perspective where it's like, man, you don't even know. I'm going through a tougher time than you. You know what I mean? But yet you still offering encouraging words. So, stuff like that, I think you really have to just understand that, um, although we have our individual experiences, and we all go through, different circumstances, tough times in their own ways, although some paths in life may be tougher, than others. You know what I mean? Offering encouraging words is not a hard thing to do. It's very easy to do, regardless. You just have to really understand that, everybody, still needs that. You know what I mean? It's not a matter of uh, comparing, one strife, one struggle to another, but more so understanding that we're both struggling, plain and simple. We're both going through something tough, right? And offering an encouraging word can both, you know, help one another, right? Because if my neighbor falls, you know what I mean? If my neighbor falls, um, and there's no one there to pick him up, you know what I mean? Um, just because, I didn't feel like my neighbor really understood that whatever he's going through is not that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Now, someone could say the same thing and have that same type of perspective, and now I fall. When I needed a neighbor, no one was there. You know what I mean? My neighbor felt like what I was going through, what I mean, wasn't that big of a deal. You know what I mean? So we don't want to get into that where it's like we're comparing struggles, or we're comparing strife, we're comparing one another's situations, or we're, what I mean, kind of thing. It's like we just have to understand that if one another is going through something difficult, a difficult time, you know what I mean, regardless of whatever the situation is, offering some wisdom, offering encouraging, some encouragement is very important. It's needed. You know what I mean? We need, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And loving your neighbor, and part of doing that, I mean, you want to lift each other up. We need to lift each other up and give encouraging words, and not look at each other or despise each other, um, for whatever reasons. But you know what I mean. Get to know one another, love each other. You know what I mean, for real, for real. Um, so it's like you have to understand there's no perspective where someone needs more encouragement than someone else. You know what I mean? I don't think that, we shouldn't. I feel like we, as human beings, tend to complicate things rather than simplifying things for whatever reason. But it's really can be as simple as it really is as simple as that, and it can be as simple as that. Where it's like we're just encouraging one another. It doesn't matter. You're going through a divorce and someone's homeless. You both need encouragement. Period. Right? You both need encouragement, and y'all, both should encourage one another. And what I mean. That shouldn't change depending on the circumstances. Like it shouldn't be a situation where it's like you'll be all right. You'll get out of it. You know what I mean? We shouldn't dismiss one another or push each other aside, in the sense where it's like, there's people doing worse off than you. It's like, oh, of course, you know what I mean? Like, there's definitely situations where it's like you'd rather not be in, and it's like, all right, well, this situation that you're in, although difficult, I mean, does it you still pick it over another person's situation that they're going through? That's definitely a fact. You know what I mean? There are situations like that, but that does that then um justify that you don't need encouragement at all? You know what I mean? That wouldn't be fair. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be showing love if you look at at what people are going through from that point of view and that lens. It wouldn't be right, because now we're picking and choosing who we show love to in that sense. We're picking and choosing who needs encouragement or who deserves it or who's really going through, and that's not right. That's not kind. That's not what we need as we all go through life, together. That's not what we need. That's not the right thing to do. I mean, come on. Um, uh, I mean, it's not. I mean, simply put, that's not Christ-like. You know what I mean? Of course. You know what I mean? God is love, and since God is love, you know what I mean. If we're picking and choosing who, you know, we should, who really needs it more, who really needs this encouragement more, like. I mean, we're not thinking of it, in a Christ-like manner, right? And you know what I mean. If Christ looked at us like that, I mean, that would be very very unfortunate for us. You know what I mean? Christ didn't look at us like, like who really deserves it. You mean none of us do. You know what I mean? It's like who's really in need. He's like, which one of us? He's like, no, all of us. And he loves all of us equally. That's the same way we need to look at one another. And when God says to love our neighbor, we're not talking from a sense of, what I mean. Hey, what's up? What's up, Tom? Yo, what's up, Dan? He's like, oh, what's up, Ken? He's what I mean. And it's like, and you just, when you go pick up your newspaper from your front porch, and you kind of just, you guys exchange from, you know, uh, highs and goodbyes and all of that. No, I'm talking about love your neighbor. Like, he's going through something, she's going through something. Um, you're there to offer some wisdom if needed. You know what I mean? Some advice, some encouragement, some kind words, and really being genuine about it. You know what I mean? Not you know what I mean? Not just the bare minimum, or just what I mean, the common, what I mean, just the common pass by, kind of not really thinking of what, if the person of the other person, in that sense of, maybe they're going through something or anything like that. um, or maybe, what I mean, if you and then that's also if you feel, that they are going through something, you know what I mean, not to intrude, but if you feel, You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But even if you don't necessarily feel that, you still have to operate in a space where you actually are generally want to know. You know what I mean? You know what the other person is going through in the sense in their day to day. You know, just by asking, yo, how are you? It's like, no, really, how are you? Like, is everything good? And relationship wise, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But use wisdom, depending on how you know the person. But you know what I mean, relationship wise, how's your wife, how's your family, how's your kids, everything good in school, stuff like that, you know what I mean? Uh, a little, more deeper questions, more open ended questions, you know what I mean? And that's really showing love, you know what I mean? And they're just being genuinely concerned, genuinely interested in what the other person, you know, is how the other person is doing. You know what I mean? Now, that's how we get into, being able to encourage people, you know what I mean? Because, I just say that to say that, sometimes it's just like, how do we encourage people? You know what I mean? If you don't even know what they're going through, or if they really need it at that moment, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? You wouldn't know if someone needs encouragement at that moment, or if they need, if they need it at all. Um, if you don't talk to them, if you don't talk to people, if you don't be vulnerable, you know what I mean, or allow people to be vulnerable, you know what I mean, and put yourself out there so other people can put themselves out there, you know what I mean. You can't show love and be closed off at the same time, right? So if you want to love your neighbor, right, if you want to give encouragement, show encouragement, you have to be able to create an environment that gives space for that gives opportunity for that to even come about, for that to come alive, right? You have to give space for that. So if you're not able to be vulnerable, you're able to show love and really be open, right? Then you're not going to be able to really dig deeper and really show that, encouragement. You know what I mean? It's easy to show encouragement to people that you've grown up with all your life, or you already know. But I mean, you don't want to just stay in that circle. I mean, unless you know everybody in the world, right? But I mean, I'm pretty sure, I can bet that a lot of us, you know what I mean, we have, no matter how many friends we have, there's people that we don't know like that, you know what I mean, that closely, that intimately, where we can just, that we necessarily have gone up to them and are able to know what it is they need advice on, or wisdom on, or encouragement, you know what I mean, encouragement surrounding, right? So there's people that we can reach out to and be vulnerable, and be, step out with in the sense that we're allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, and kind of just approach them with, with that openness, so that they can also be vulnerable too. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it's just a practical thing. You know what I mean? If people don't think you really want to hear what they have to say, if people don't really feel that you're open, you know what I mean, they're probably less inclined to want to open up to you. Because I mean, you know what I mean, it would be just a waste of time or energy, or you know what I mean, just pouring out, you know what I mean, any type of information that you really didn't, open yourself up to receiving, right? So you have to think of it like that. So I mean, again, you have to have wisdom with these sort of things. But you know what I mean, it could be your literal neighbor, like someone next door. I mean, maybe you guys see each other and pass by each other from time to time. But I mean, just, instead of just a simple hi, you know what I mean, if you have the time, you know what I mean, and your neighbor's just, maybe sitting outside his house, just, hanging out, you know what I mean, ask him a couple questions, talk to him about whatever it is, you know what I mean? Talk to him about life, you know what I mean? Maybe common things you share. Maybe you guys both have children. Maybe you guys both like football, basketball, whatever it is, you know what I mean? You can relate to certain things, and then from there, things can begin to grow, in the sense that um, one can understand one another better, and when things happen in our life, tough times, you know, that just you being vulnerable. And vulnerable does not mean weakness. I'm not talking from a weak sense, but vulnerable in the sense that you're not shutting down or closing yourself off to an opportunity to having a relationship, to make a connection with another human being. That's what I mean, by vulnerable. And I think vulnerable might have can at times have, depending, I mean, yeah, I mean, maybe depending on the context, or just, yeah, in certain people's minds, I think vulnerability can have a stigma to it, where it means you're being weak, or you're letting your guard down, in the sense that you're not, you're leaving yourself open to attack. And no, I no, not at all. In certain, you have to have wisdom, when we're dealing with people. So you're not going to allow yourself to be vulnerable and just let every single thing that comes to your mind out, that you know that doesn't necessarily need to be said, right? So I mean, you're not going to just go out, but sir, you operate in wisdom. I mean, you talking about your favorite basketball player is of no consequences with someone who also may be interested in sports or in playing basketball. I mean, whether they are or not, you being vulnerable about your interests, and something like that, it's just you just open yourself up to conversation, right? Um, and all of these are just practical things, and just um, and I mean, even talking about it can really, I guess, just be detailed, just detailed things that you can just do, and as you go about your life, and just really allow yourself to get to the point where you can give someone encouragement, because in life we all get to a point where we will, just go through, right? I mean, at some point, at one point or another, we all, you know what I mean? We all experience death, right? We all experience death, right? So at one point or another, right? Even if it's just that, people will need encouragement and kind words regarding that matter, right? Um, and we all experience pain. We all experience heartbreak. There's a lot of things that we experience, at different stages of our life, that are pretty constant. You know what I mean? Some that being pain, hurt, and all of that stuff that we go through for various reasons. So to say that no one will ever need encouragement would be a lie. I mean, come on. I mean, it's. I think um, you can find plenty of people throughout your lifetime that will need a form of some some encouragement, some uplifting words, but one has to take that step and be vulnerable in a perfectly good way, and open yourself up to 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 start a connection, to relate to another human being, in a genuine way, right? And just and applying wisdom with it, right? It really goes a long way, right? So we're not just going surface level with it, where and we talked about in the beginning, having a strong support system, healthy relationships, where you get encouragement, you know what I mean, and that's great. We need that. But we don't want it to stop there, right? So it's like, oh, only people we know, you know what I mean. As we grow up, there's people that that, I mean, we automatically know our family members, our father, our mothers, our brothers, our sisters, our cousins, our aunties, and uncles. Those are, for the most part, for a lot of us, that's like a given. And for some people who may not have so much family, you know what I mean, there's just people that we grew up with school with, or maybe co-workers, or certain people that we've grown up with that we're close to. You know what I mean? So then, you know what I mean, you have those people in your encouraging you, supporting you. You have, you know, a good amount of people there. And then we talked about, you know, ourselves also needing that encouragement. You know, us, you know, we need to encourage ourselves, you know what I mean? So even not just our support, relying on our support system, but there's moments in life where we have to encourage ourselves. So people are encouraging us, but then, you know what I mean, sometimes we ourselves can do some self-sabotaging and kind of beat ourselves up too much on something, and we need to get ourselves out of that pit and encourage ourselves, right? So both are important. Especially, um you know, encouraging yourself, because there's times where maybe you don't have that as strong a support system, you know, as other people, as some other people do. You still have to encourage yourself. You still need to pick yourself up. You still have to, you know, that's a part of loving yourself, you know what I mean? Not other people just loving you. You also have to love yourself. You're right. You can't love your neighbor as yourself if you don't love yourself, because then you won't be able to truly love your neighbor the right way, right? You have to, you know, at least effectively, you know, all the way, because if you don't love yourself, you know what I mean, there's going to be some type of weakness, there's going to be some type of a deficiency, right? So that's really important, you know what I mean? You know, those two things though, having good support system that's able to encourage you. You know, we talked about that, and of course, encouraging yourself. But even if you don't have that, right? Um, that support system, you're still able to encourage yourself. But in all scenarios, you know, all three. Within all those three, even with you encouraging yourself, you know, having a support system or not, you know what I mean, you're still able to encourage yourself and have other, and um, in some cases have other people around you encourage you. But you shouldn't just stop there. You should also be a vessel to be able to encourage other people and do so. And then that will help, even if you, so maybe you don't currently have that strong support system, and you do encourage yourself, right, as well. But if you allow yourself to be vulnerable and really make those connections, you know what I mean? You can build, you know, relationships that are healthy relationships, that where now you do have those healthy relationships where you have someone that can encourage you, because you've, you know, stepped out and allowed yourself to to use yourself, you know, to encourage somebody, and, you know, other people. You know what I mean? We're not meant to be alone and by ourselves, isolated. Just, you know what I mean? We'd go crazy. You know what I mean? That's torture. I mean, that's like a that's like I mean, that could be. I'm pretty sure that's been studied. I had to do research on that, but just being in pure isolation, you know what I mean, solitary confinement. That's a that's a that's a that's a punishment, right? Because there's no human contact. There's no type of, you know, stimulation. There's nothing going on. You're just there with your own thoughts, and that can be bad. Just there with your own thoughts. You know what I mean? And us humans can have some wild thoughts, and even you know what I mean, and that's that's the worst. You know what I mean? Position to be in, just by yourself, isolated, nobody talk to, no relationships, no connection, no nothing. So yeah, r- really letting ourselves out there, you know, and to be allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, you know, uh, you know, the right way. You know what I mean? And not again, and I say that because, you know, not in a weak sense, um, but allowing ourselves to be open, you know, to connect with other people, you know, so other people can also feel, you know, comfortable and safe to be able to connect with us, right? To connect with, you know, to connect with you, you know what I mean? And like, with that, then you can really get deeper into encouragement, because you just don't want it to be, all right, you only you encouraging yourself, and you're encouraged by your family, and you encourage, and you know what I mean, you also encouraging your family and your friends, people in your circle. How about you make that circle, you know what I mean, a little bit bigger, you know what I mean? How about you know what I mean? Even if it doesn't even have to be someone that what's it called? It's not like I'm telling you, go make friends with every single person you meet, but you know what I mean. You may not see the person again. Maybe you're in another country. It doesn't mean not see the person again. Who knows? The point is though, you still, that does not mean you should um, cut yourself off and kind of make yourself really, you know, you know, um, hard to read or reach, or really connect with. You should still let yourself out there and just talk to people. You just don't know who needs it, man. You just don't know who needs that encouragement and how that can impact so many lives. I mean, you know what I mean. So um, yeah, I mean, this topic, you know it's a strong one, this episode, because I mean it stretches, because it's not we're not talking surface level here. It's like encouragement. It's like, I don't think most people are not thinking, when you're encouraging people, I mean, you're gonna think of encouraging people, right? I mean, encouraging people, uplifting people that you know well, right? Family and friends, like we mentioned in the beginning. But you that makes sense, because I mean, most people, you may not know strangers that well to encourage them, right? And I mean, I think what I love about sports, I mean, and because as a hooper, as a basketball player, what I love about sports, you could not have known someone. You could go on a basketball court and not know the guy, or the girl you're playing with on the basketball court ever, right? And you just hooping, right? And they on your team, or even if you're playing against them, you know what I mean. But there's some type of camaraderie, some type of, it's just, that spirit of competition, and just enjoying the game, right? And all of that, there, that common, you know what I mean, where you sometimes, and then especially if you maybe you hoop at the same court or gym a couple times, and you see that same person you don't really know that well at all, until you came to that gym, of course. Besides being in that gym, you don't know that person, but eventually it kind of becomes, you know what I mean, a relationship can start, where it's like, because you're just bonding on this one interest that you clearly both have, right? So something like that, and then from that, it's like, I mean, I know this from experience. You know what I mean? It's just someone I don't know. I don't even know their name yet. You know what I mean? For real, for real. Or and of course, it's not like we knew each other before that. It's like you playing in the game, a turnover happens or this happens. It's like, ah, yo, pick your head up, bro. It's like, yo, it's all right, bro. Don't, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm talking real practical stuff. Um, but but why am I encouraging? Because he's on my team. But you never met him before, so he's on my team, right? You know what I mean? Think about it. I mean, why would, you know what I mean? No one would question me for uplifting my teammate on court, even though this is the first time I played with him. Uh, and I played with him about you know me on the court ever, right? That's the first time I ever played with this person. Like they're a stranger other than this moment right here. We're playing, you know what I mean, in the gym. So think of it as even like that. You know what I mean? You could be at work. You got a coworker. You don't know them from nowhere. Um, you who cares? You got a restaurant, maybe. I mean, it depends on the circumstances, right? It depends on the situation, whatever. Maybe you're at the mall, whatever. I don't know. But the point is, you know what I mean. If the opportunity presents itself, I mean, you can offer encouraging words. You can open yourself up, and be vulnerable and be open to to a conversation, to a connection. You know what I mean? to really, talk to another human being, and relate to them, or in some way, and then you leave the door to encouraging one another. You know what I mean? I think in life we complicate two things, and I mean like, what makes you think that person, they're a stranger? Because of course you didn't grow up with them, you don't know them from nowhere, but who does they're a human being, and they also need encouragement. They might need some encouragement right now. You know what I mean? If the opportunity, this is the opportunity for you to offer it, or to offer it. You know what I mean? Oh, allow yourself to be vulnerable, and begin to open the door and open yourself up, so you can, you know, try to give some encouragement. Try to, make a connection right there. You know what I mean? So do not limit. Let's not limit ourselves to, you know, to not being able to care about other people and encourage other people because we don't know them, right? You know what I mean? It's odd to me. It's like, all right, you don't are okay. You don't know them, so how are you going to get to know them, right? I mean, it's not like you're going to be living in your mom and dad's house all your life. It's not gonna like you're gonna be living with your family all your life, or it's not like you're going to be only talking or associated with them, like, oh, like you go outside, you go other places, you meet other people. It's not like you're only talking to your immediate family members or your extended family members. It's not like you're only talking to your friends. You know what I mean? Maybe for the most part, whatever, but the point is you do see other people outside of your, that circle you're in, right? you know uh and some people, depending on what you do, understand that. But the point I'm trying to make is, you know what I mean. You meet other people outside of the people that you're always, familiar with, that you're definitely familiar with. So you know what I mean. To make that excuse that it's like, all right, to to not show love to your neighbor, you know what I mean, is really just a weak excuse. Because I mean, who else are you gonna show love to? Only your family members? You know what I mean? That sounds silly, right? There's other people that need your encouragement. Why not? You know what I mean? And what would be the reason not to show to be who you, the same way you are with your family? You know what I mean? Open yourself up to, in a brief moment, you can open yourself up and just be, what I mean, you be yourself, you know to someone else. You know what I mean? Show that person, you know what I mean, and be you. You know what I mean? Offer a helping hand if needed. You know what I mean? But and with wisdom, do these things. But I think it's very, very, very practical. It's very important, and it's very um, necessary, in the way the world is right now. I mean, I think a lot of people need encouragement. A lot of people need some love. A lot of people need, some care. You know what I mean? They need to be, um, need a conversation, right? You know what I mean? And the reason there none of that doesn't happen as often is because, well, uh, I don't know you. Stay away from me. Like, mind your business, or do you? You know what I mean? And we just don't. It may just us not being taught or understanding, ways we can just really be just, I mean, just, yeah, to just really be, to be open with one another. And again, I touched on it just, briefly, but just the stigma around, uh something as simple as being vulnerable. You know what I mean? Something as like being vulnerable, it can be stigmatized and looked at in the wrong way, as a weakness. Um and even being kind, or loving your neighbor, these things can be looked at as weakness, or you have to be very, very cautious with it. Or people kind of stray away from, or afraid of doing these things because they don't want to get hurt, right? So a lot of things are being looked at and stigmatized from from a fear-based perspective, and from and at times a selfish, you know what I mean, outlook on things, where it's like, you know, I'm more worried about myself, and it's like, you know what I mean, and what is the, you know what I mean, and we have to look at the root of that. What is the reason for that? Honestly, you know what I mean. There can be, because again, all of this stuff is wisdom. You know what I mean. Uh, you don't. You're not. There's opportunities that present itself to just do. I mean, just to be, just to love your neighbor and really show that in your actions. You know what I mean? And they're, you know what I mean. Instead of recording a fight, breaking up a fight, and figuring out what started it in the first place, instead of uh, hyping up the fight throughout the school day, and and trying to figure out where the fight is going to be at, so you can record it, or so your friends can come see it, instead of basically feeding this violence or hate, whatever, and this and all this nonsense. You know what I mean? Do the opposite. That's a perfect example where you can show love, and tell the person, maybe one of the people that are about to fight, and talk to them and tell them not to do it, and give them a reason why, and just be that person, right? You don't know, maybe you don't even know them, but that's a perfect opportunity to show love and be a loving neighbor, right? Why not? You know what I mean? Someone's about to get themselves in trouble, get themselves hurt, or hurt somebody else, right? Why is that a good thing? You know what I mean? Whatever the reason may be, you could be saving a life. You could be saving someone's future just by doing that. Which, you know what I mean? I mean, these are like, think about that. That's a wise thing to do, right? Okay. That's a perfect opportunity that presents itself. You know what I mean? You don't just you're not gonna randomly just go up to someone and be like, "Hey, don't do anything stupid today." You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna randomly do that. No, if opportunity presents itself, like the example I just gave, you hear some people about to fight. You know what I mean? All these high school fights you hear about. You know what I mean? You can be that voice of reason. You can be that person to tell that person not to do something, and then maybe they're being bullied. Maybe they're going through something. Encourage them and tell them everything's gonna be all right, and tell them relax. You know what I mean? Get a group of people and you got some friends in the school. Now you use that as well, and tell, maybe use your influence within your friends. You know what I mean? If they're really your friends, they'll do that, because why wouldn't they help you? Foster an act of love. You know what I mean? So if they're real friends, they'll help you with that. Foster an act of love, and stop a fight, a dumb fight from going on, right? Getting a kid, so because that kid would probably get suspended, or both kids would get suspended, or something to happen, and then for what? For what? For absolutely what? For a brief moment of what? Absolutely, it doesn't. For something that a fight that won't solve anything, that really won't prove anything, right? So, really, these it's practical stuff. So I think we need to remove, to continue onward. You know what I mean? To keep going one step in front of the other and progress, individually, and as just a human race. You know what I mean? This episode, we're talking about keeping it going, keep moving onward, and encouragement, staying encouraged. You know what I mean? Doing that comes with, we got to remove the stigma of behind vulnerability, behind loving one another, especially people we don't know. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. Like, it's really easy to love your mom and dad. I mean, come on. Like, and the people that raised you and grew up with you. That's, come on. Like, that you don't need to teach that, right? But that's like one, two, three. But loving people you haven't met at all before, right? Um, we need to remove the hesitancy and the fear behind that as well, and and just being, and the selfishness behind our actions and our motives and the way we think about certain things, and the way we approach certain things, and the way that we think certain things are okay. You know, we need to deal with that, right? The first thing we do when things aren't going right, for someone or someone else, is to record and post it and see what other people like about it or think of it, rather than us not putting our phone involved, but actually dealing with that situation in the moment. You know what I mean? Not giving it for other people to do their commentary on, right? Think about that. You know what I mean? That's not very encouraging, but I think, you know what I mean? Instead of encouragement, you causing controversy, and a lot of, you know what I mean, gossip and all of that. And that's far from encouraging, and and you're not giving anyone hope with that. You know what I mean? Encouragement gives you hope. You know what I mean? It gives you happiness. It gives you, and you know what I mean. You foster a lot. You bring out a lot of things with that. You know what I mean. You can joy and peace. A lot encouragement is very come on, right? But we tend to do the opposite. You know what I mean? Um, Unfortunately. So we need to that needs to be addressed. But yeah, um, that's episode 21, y'all. Onward, one foot in front of the other. Keep going forward. Um, Encouragement. Be encouraged. Encourage someone today, whether it be your family, whether it be yourself, both, and whether it be someone you may not know as well. You may not know as well. It might be a stranger. It might be someone you see from time to time at the gym, that that you see often enough, that plays on the same team as you sometimes, um, or someone who works out in the gym with you, um, on the same days sometimes. Whatever it is, if the opportunity presents itself, use wisdom. Offer some encouragement. Offer some encouragement. Be kind. Love your neighbor. And you know what the best part is? It's free. That's something you can't say in a lot of places in the world, right? It's free. That is free. That's free 99. Yet we hold on to it like it's the most expensive thing in the world. Like like we can't just give it out like that. Nah, we need to do away with that. If we understand, if we even treated it as something as free as it can't even, you can't run out of it. It's free and you can't run out of it. I'll give it to you. I'll have more to give. If we treated, loving our neighbor in that sense, man, the world would be in a much better position. I mean, things would still go on, but come on, the world can be in a much better position. Looking at it from that perspective, love is free, man. Give it out. True love, you know what I mean? It's free. It's free. Just give it out, man. Give it out. Give it out. There's no take backs, no strings attached, none of that. Give it out. You know what I mean? Offer some encouragement today, please. Here's some encouragement. Y'all, I love y'all. I love y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in each and every week. Y'all that tune in, appreciate y'all, man. And till next week, till the next episode 22. Holla at y'all, man. Hope y'all got something from this episode. Got some wisdom, got some insight. Hope you got something from it. Appreciate y'all, man, and keep on keeping up with us on our socials, man. Kwanza Global, KWANZA GLOBAL, and yeah, man, keep keeping up with us on our socials, and yeah, man, appreciate y'all listening. Keep listening on our to our podcast every week, and more content will be coming on the way. Not just podcasts, but visual content too. in the future will be coming. But so keep a lookout for that. And of course, apparel, will be coming soon. Much more apparel will be coming soon. Repping Kwanza Global. So look out for that in the future. That will be coming out very soon, by God's grace, man. But keep looking out for that. But all the way through, regardless, keep supporting us. Love y'all, man, once again. And yeah, that's episode 21. Love y'all. And until next week, Kwanza Global family, we out. Peace.